everybody, Allie here with Zero Waste Bakersfield. Today I want to talk about something that's kind of close to my heart, which is repair. Now, repair is one of the cornerstones of being zero waste. Simply put, the idea that you would fix something when it's broken rather than replacing it. What that does is it increases a lot fewer things into the waste stream. Now, what it does for me personally is something a little different. I am the only child of a single mom, and so growing up, if things got broken in my house, we were going to be the ones to fix it, or it just wouldn't get fixed. We didn't have a lot of the financial resources available to just bring someone in. Now, what that has done for me really is make me comfortable enough to try to fix things before I have to attempt to bring someone else on board. Now, there is something to be said about knowing your limits. I don't, as a general rule, mess around with electricity. So, I can change out light fixtures and ceiling fans pretty easily, changing out light switches and plugs, but one of the things that I won't run wiring, and that's just because it's not something I'm confident about. But pretty much anything outside of that, I'm willing to give it a try, because there's not a ton that you can really screw up so badly that it can't be fixed, for the most part. So today, all I wanted to do is go over some general tools that you should try to have on hand pretty much at all times, but also for anyone who's kind of interested in getting started in repair and doesn't know where to begin, where to jump in, what do you really need. There are going to be people trying to sell you like these huge toolkits with all kinds of things, but the simple fact is, to get started, you really don't need a ton. So the very first tool that I wanted to bring up is YouTube. YouTube is one of the absolute best repair resources that there is. Pretty much anything that you might need to fix, someone will have already fixed it and recorded the whole thing. Get as specific as you want. So, I mean, if you're thinking about, replacing the air filters on your car, rather than paying someone a stupid amount of money to do it, considering what they cost, you can just Google 2014 Hyundai Accent filter replacement and watch someone else do it. This is also really good for something like ice maker knocking sound. Someone will have already fixed it, probably fixed the model that you have, and they will have filmed it. You can also then get an idea of whether or not the repair is really within your ability level or your ability comfort. So if you're looking at it and it's a washing machine and you see the machine has to be completely taken apart, the drum taken out, it has to be turned over, and you think, I don't feel comfortable doing that, you can kind of see the whole repair before it even happens and get an idea whether or not it's something that you have the strength, ability, appropriate tools to really tackle. YouTube, tool number one. Let's get into the actual physical tools that you need to have on hand. And it's a very short list. You can do most things with just some really basic tools. So number one, hammer. It's just a standard 1 pound hammer. Actually, this is a really old one. It's Sears brand. This is my grandpa's. Pretty self-explanatory what you can do with that. Some screwdrivers. Now, you don't really need a giant set to get started. I would say a large Phillips head and a large flathead. So here we have our Phillips head screwdriver. That's that little 4-prong one. And we have the flathead screwdriver. Or actually, I guess it's a slotted screwdriver. Everyone I know calls it a flathead, but if you ever see anything referred to as a slotted screw, that's what they're talking about. Or, instead of getting these, again, you can tell how old all of my tools are. It's ridiculous. You could opt for something like this. This is upside down and backward. This is the Husky brand. It is a ratcheting screwdriver. So that means you don't have to turn it back and forth every time you need to turn a screw. But the best thing about this is it does come with every single bit you would need inside the base. And so you don't have to buy a bunch of different screwdrivers in a bunch of different sizes. You have them all already right here. So this thing was about $10. And $10 for pretty much an entire cabinet full of screwdrivers, especially with the ratcheting option on it. It's a really good deal. Set of pliers. This is just a really basic set of pliers. You'll see it has these two little spots here, and that's so you can handle small things, and you can also expand it and go for bigger things. I use pliers probably a lot more than I should. A lot of times that I should use a wrench, I use pliers, just because I'm more comfortable with it. But this is an expanding wrench. So the idea is you can fit it around bolts or certain kinds of screws if they have that type of head. I think those would probably all be bolts. Or plumbing fixtures, and you can turn it without having to open your hand every time. This is a weirdly fancy one. I just grabbed the first thing that I saw in the toolbox, but just a basic wrench is not going to run you a ton of money, and you will hopefully find some good use out of it. And the last thing, tape measure. And odds are on you probably already have one of these. Most people have one hanging out in a junk drawer somewhere. In terms of brand or necessary length or any number of other things, it really doesn't matter. A measuring tape is a measuring tape. Pretty standard. It does have the locking mechanism, so that's nice. You can keep it from retracting on itself. So pretty much basic home repairs, that's going to be what you need. And if you're really interested in doing a project and you see that it does require a specialty tool, you can kind of figure out if it's in your budget, if it's something that you're going to use again. You know, you can kind of make that determination for yourself. But this is a really good starting spot. The very next step up is going to be a power drill. This is mine. You can see it's been well used and not cleaned. But this is a really good option, and this is a drill driver. Now you can get drills that are corded or cordless. The corded ones are frequently less expensive, but not enough less expensive to make it worth it. This is the cordless option. Again, I think I got this one at Home Depot for $30-40. But the rest of your tools, let's see, just counting it up here, 10, 20, under $40 for your entire set of basic starter tools. But the biggest thing to understand is that you should start with a small repair first. Don't necessarily think you can dive right in and you know, build a house, wire the whole thing, run your own plumbing. Like, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn. But the great thing is there are also a lot of resources available to talk you through the sort of starter repairs that you might want to do. The biggest thing is just not to be afraid. You really can learn a lot by doing, and you're not going to do if you're afraid of what you're doing. So again, disclaimer, know your limits, know the things that you know might kill you or someone else, and think about calling a professional in that case. But you can do so much more than you think you can. You got this. You really, really got this. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm definitely not the home repair expert, but I've done a fair amount of things on my own for the most part. Just reach out. Reach out if you have any questions. And again, you got it. I have faith in you. So with that being said, have a great day. Talk to you all soon. Bye.